Okay. So let's start today in tabletop. And we're going to do a few different tabletops throughout the class to help us try to keep our right and left sides equal. So first, just spread your fingers, and on your inhale, lift your chest and sitting bones, and on your exhale, round your back. We'll just do this a few times. It's nice and symmetrical. So it's pretty easy to keep the weight between your right and left sides even. See if you can use a little more Baddha to initiate your movement. More subtle muscles deep within, instead of just kind of glutes and like the six-pack abs. So you can think of drawing your sitting bones closer together. You can think of hollowing your belly. That would be the action on the rounding. So the next time you're ready to exhale, press the downward dog. We'll just stay here for a few breaths. You might need to pedal your feet a bit. Let's lift the armpits up an inch toward the ceiling. Press your chest back toward your thighs. Just see if that helps your shoulders at all. Keeping that, lift the right leg up. You can stack the hip or not. And just lower it to downward dog again. Inhale the left leg high. Exhale to downward dog. Just one more time each leg. Notice if you're shifting the weight in your hands at all. Try to minimize it. Squeeze your forearms toward one another. And after that left foot lands, let's either walk, step, or jump, feet to hands. When you get there, inhale, straighter legs. Exhale, fold. Let's rise all the way up. Inhale. Interlace the fingers, turn the palms up, and just tip over to one side, stretching the opposite side body. And as we're reaching out, let's also bring the arms back about 2 inches, and you'll just feel it more in your top shoulder and armpit. Let's inhale through center and exhale over to the other side. And really, the bringing of the arms back is just to put us all in that same plane, because we tend to have the arms too far forward in this position. So reach out, slightly back. We'll use an inhale to rise. Let's fold for the exhale. Come halfway up for your inhale, and step to plank for your exhale. And here in plank, let's lift the belly up. Move the tailbone slightly toward your heels. And keeping all that, just place your right knee down under your hip. And lift your left leg a few inches off the floor. Without changing the arms, without changing the shape of the pelvis or the spine. And lower the left foot down again, and return to your plank with straight legs. Reset whatever you need to, and bring the left knee down without changing your belly, without changing your back. Lift the right leg up. It's tempting when you lift the right leg up to arch the back. So just for now, try not to. And lower the right foot. Return to your plank. We'll just do one more each side. Right knee comes down, belly in, left leg up. Keep reaching the leg out as you bring it down again so you can return to plank. Left knee comes down, belly stays in, there's no arching or minimal arching, as little as you can muster to just stay neutral. Lower the right foot, extend the left leg. Stay here for an inhale. Let's come all the way to belly for an exhale. A little cobra. We'll stay here for a few breaths. We'll roll the shoulders back. And let's try to think of our elbows moving toward our hips. And then your wrists moving toward your hips. And see if that makes your chest open up anymore. You keep your pubic bone pressing down. Just lift your hands off the floor. Try to stay up there, just with your back muscles. We'll lower the hands down, lift up higher, either cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward dog. Pedal out however you need, shake out your head however you need. But as you're pressing your chest towards your legs, don't let your arms collapse out of the sockets. So keep your shoulders and armpits lifting up. Let's bring the right leg up to the ceiling. Inhale. And bring yourself to plank. Tap your right knee to your right elbow. Exhale. Leg up again. Inhale. And right foot down for downward dog. Exhale. Left side. Inhale. Try to keep your weight even on your hands. Rock forward to plank. Knee to elbow. Inhale, leg up. And exhale, foot down. One more time each side. Inhale. Come forward. Exhale. Leg up. Inhale. Downward dog. Exhale. Left leg up. Inhale. So your back is going to round as you look forward. There's some hip flexor work. Leg up. Inhale. Armpits stay lifted. Downward dog. Exhale. And make your plan of how you're going to get your feet to your hands. Execute that plan. When you get to the top, inhale. Fold. Exhale. Rise all the way up. Inhale. Let's lower just the right arm down to the exhale. We'll tilt over to the right side, so we're reaching our left arm out. We'll push the hips opposite the reach, so hips are pushing to the left. And you'll feel this bottom hand slide further down your leg. If you can push your hips far enough to the side, you'll be able to get your right leg off the ground. So just play with that idea. And this we'll use later in pincha. For a lot of folks, the issue with the balance is that the hips are not moving far enough away from the wall. So let's bring the bottom foot down, rise up again, lower the top arm, try the other side. So to come out of this alignment, this straight up and down, the arm moves. This would be imitating your leg in pincha, and the hips move. And obviously the feet, right now, if you were flipped upside down, would be your forearms in pincha. So if your hips are far enough over, maybe that left leg can lift. You just have to be sort of ready to move into this kind of extreme shape, because that will help later with your upside downs. Okay, let's return to our neutral, lower the hand, and let's lift both arms up. Inhale. Fold forward, exhale. Halfway up, inhale, step to plank, exhale. We'll have our feet together. Notice you're even right and left sides. Don't change the arms at all. Just tap your right knee to your elbow and step back again. Tap your left knee to your left elbow and step back again. And just alternate at your pace. If you have any wrist issues, just do this on your forearms. If you go to your forearms, maybe your knee doesn't touch all the way, but it will still be sort of the same work. Let's take one more round. When you get to plank again, lower to your belly. This time, Shalabhasana C. Interlace the fingers behind your back. Lift your chest and shoulders up. So we reach our knuckles toward our feet. We push the pubic bone down. We try to come up a little bit higher. Keep that lift to the chest. Release your hands under the shoulders. Cobra or upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. So really the only difference between cobra and upward facing is, are your knees up or down? It does change other aspects like the angle that you're back bending, but the big piece is, what are the legs doing? Okay, make your plan how you're going to get your feet to your hands. Do that. When you get there, inhale. Fold, exhale. Rise up, inhale. And bring the arms down by your sides, exhale. Bend the knees till your fingers touch the floor. And keep your knees back bent and reach up. Utkatasana. If your arms can't be together, no problem, but keep your arms straight. So don't bend the elbows just to connect the palms. Reach up higher. And let's fold as we exhale, head toward shins. Inhale, halfway up. Send the left leg back to your lunge. Exhale. Straighten the right leg. Inhale. Bend both legs. Bring the left knee down. Exhale. We'll reach forward and up for steeple mudra. There's the inhale. And bring the fingertips down again. Exhale. Straighten both legs. Inhale. Send the right hip back. Exhale. Bend the knees. Anjaneasanas. Reach forward and up. Steeple mudra. Inhale. Get the arms behind the ears if you can. Exhale, fingers down. Just one more time like this. Inhale. And exhale, bend. Reach up and back. The pinky edge of the hand still pressing into the other. And hands come down. Let's step back to plank and move through a vinyasa. From your downward dog, lift your heels high. Inhale. Bend the knees. Exhale, look forward, step or jump. Inhale when you get there. Fold, exhale. Utkatasana. Bend the knees deeply. Lift the arms up. This time we'll move back and forth from here to standing. So we'll just straighten the legs, lower the arms, and inhale to Utkatasana again. One more time like that. Here's your Samasthiti. Here's your Utkatasana. Then take it to squatting, just as low as you can go. And then Utkatasana. One more time. Even if it's just 1 inch lower, it will count. And from this last Utkatasana, straighten the legs, fold, exhale. Come halfway up, inhale. Send the right leg back. So we're just in a lunge on the other side. Straighten the left leg as much as we can. Inhale. Bend the legs, exhale. Steeple mudra. Maybe the way that feels a little weird. Reach up and away. And fingertips down. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to bend. Anjaneasana. Inhale, a way that feels goofy in your fingers. Exhale, fingers down. Inhale, push the hips up and back. Exhale, now we drop the hips forward and down. And as you're reaching your arms up and back, your hips are still moving forward and down. And hands come down for a plank. And we'll move through vinyasa to meet in downward dog. Let's return to tabletop. This time we will do arching and rounding in the cat-cow sense, but trying not to switch your weight from even. So inhale to just normal cow, 2 legs down, 2 hands down. Exhale to your regular cat. Inhale to cow one more time, chest up. And as we exhale, we're going to bring the right knee toward the nose. Inhale, extend the right leg back, like your toes are going to touch the ceiling and arch. On the exhale, bring the right knee to meet the left knee and continue left knee to the nose. Inhale the left leg back and up, chest forward. Exhale, left knee down. Right knee continues the path of touching to the nose. Inhale, right leg up and back. Exhale, right knee down, left knee curls in. Inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, left knee comes down, right knee comes to touch in. Inhale, right leg up and back, lift the chin. Exhale, right knee down, left knee to the nose. Inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, left knee down, right knee to the nose. So just continue this on your pace. And I'm saying knee to the nose, but because it's early in the morning and I'm stiff, my knee is not actually touching. It might later in the day, but not right now. So you just go as close as you can. But really focus on your arms staying level. So when your left leg is working off the ground, your left arm has to work harder in order to prevent you from swaying over to the other side. Let's just take one more round. I feel like we're in a Kundalini class, we're doing this for so long. They do things for like 5 minutes or more. Whenever you finish your last round, we'll just meet in downward dog. And you might feel like your triceps are on fire. Let's lift the right leg high for an inhale. Step into the hands, exhale. We'll go for warrior one with our fingers interlaced, palms up to the ceiling. And this grip helps us get our arms straight. Let's keep this position in the arms, like you're pressing your wrists up to the ceiling. And just spin your back knee to the floor. Maybe your arms can then go back another inch. And let's release fingertips down. We'll just straighten the right leg for this, like a half split. Inhale. And bend it again for an exhale. Just one more time like that. I'm just backing my left knee up a little bit so that I have more space. Okay, the next time that your right leg is bent, lift your left knee. Konasana. Left arm out over the ear. Any arms you want. We did a lot of different arms in a few classes recently, but you're not even limited to just those that we've done. Really, you should feel this in your right hip, mostly. And then as you reach more with your left arm and get straighter your left leg, you'll feel it through the waist of that left side. Okay, let's return to our anjaneasanas. Return to your half split. And just from the right hip joint, spin your toes to face the side and then bring them up again. Just a few times like that. Make sure that you keep your foot flexed, your quads strong. So it's literally just the hip in the socket that is controlling your leg positioning. Okay, let's rebend that knee. Return to your anjaneasana. This time let's reach up without holding hand to hand. So that might mean that your arms have to be further apart or maybe palms touch. But now that they're not interlaced in any way, it's very hard to get the palms to touch. Relift your back knee, adjust your foot so you can find your warrior one. And be honest with where do you need your hands to be so that you feel no strain in your shoulder. Take one more breath. And let's bring the hands down to the floor, step back, vinyasa. Left leg up high, inhale. Step forward, exhale, for warrior one. Put the fingers interlaced and palms flipped up. We'll try to feel a nice stretch through the right hip flexors and psoas. So to do that, you need to A, get your back leg straight. B, get your right arm straight. Maybe tuck your tailbone a little bit more so you're not in quite so much of a back arch. Okay, let's spiral that back knee to the floor. Keep in this anjaneasana shape. Maybe the arms can move up and back. The hips can move forward and down. Okay, and fingertips down. And just twice, we'll straighten the left leg for an inhale. Bend for an exhale. Straighten, inhale. Bend, exhale, head into Purvottanasana. Right knee up so that back foot can spiral down. So the legs are like warrior two. I often start on the fingertips and then decide, can my hip handle coming to the palm? Or maybe I want to stay high and rotate the torso more. Okay, right fingers down, right knee down. Straighten the left leg again. You can just walk the hands back so your fingers stay comfortably under the shoulders. And we'll spiral the foot out to the side and up again. Just a few times like that. This is definitely my tighter side for this. Okay. Let's return to our anjaneasana. We'll try to reach up and slightly back. And if you feel stuck in your shoulders, you might want to reach forward first. Try the rotation so that you feel your pinky fingers rise up toward the ceiling. And then it's a little easier to keep the rotation when you reach up. Keep the arms straight, regardless of how close the palms are to touching. Lift the back knee. Find your warrior one. Lift the chest. Okay, hands to the floor. Vinyasa. All right, let's come to the knees and then to the elbows. We'll measure it out, interlace the fingers. So it's dolphin-like arms, but we're going to keep our knees on the floor and touching each other. And from there, just extend the right leg back and bring it down again from whence it came. Bring the left leg back and bring it down again from whence it came. Okay, so before we do anything else with the arms, lift the belly button up toward your spine so that you feel a little more condensed. Now, keeping that in your mindset, or in your mind's eye, extend the right leg back again. See if your experience is any different. Then bring the right knee down, belly in, left leg back. Left knee in, right leg back again. This time, keeping your belly in, bring your awareness to your wrists. We're going to try to keep our right and left wrists equal. Touch your right knee to your right tricep or anywhere on the arm that you can. Extend the leg back again. And just do that a few times. It's very tempting to lean over to the left in order to get that right knee closer to the arm. So just try not to lean and just be humbled by whatever shape you're making. Let's lower the right knee to meet the left, and then we'll just try the left side. So belly in, wrists equal, left leg extends back. And as we bring the left knee in, we're going to try not to shift the weight to the right side. If you find that it's just too tempting and you can't resist, just don't bring your knee in quite as far. Make one more round. Okay. Now let's meet in dolphin. All these little exercises can be super easy if you avoid the bandhas. So I encourage you to make it difficult. Embrace the bandhas. Okay, let's bring the knees down again. Come to tabletop. We're just going to rock side to side so that we can switch our hand position, fingers facing back. So as you're rocking, one hand will be light, and then it's movable. And as you're feeling more comfortable in the forearms and wrists, the fingers will face more and more straight back toward your knees. At first, it might just face to the side. The next time that you get your hands facing back, we're going to stay there for a breath or two. If it's hard, you'll lean forward more. If it's easy, you'll lean back more. Blaze doesn't think it's easy or hard. He just thinks it's silly that mom's head is close to the floor. Okay, let's flip the hands around again. We'll lower to the elbows. And we're just going to come up into our first headstand. And I want to show you a way that we're going to play with legs today. So just have a quick look up here. So we'll come up. And you can come up any way you want. It could be a two-legged or not. Then we're going to bring one toe to the knee, straighten the leg, bring it in again, and then bring it up. So if you came up one leg at a time, you could just start with your toe on your knee, and then bring it out and in, and then up. And this will be very easy, relatively easy, from your headstand. But later we're going to do it from other inversions, and then it won't be easy. So be kind of attentive right now to the connection that your toe has to the inseam of your other leg. And also it's easier to have that leg bent. When you go to extend it out, your top leg has to be stronger. And you might decide that when you extend it out, it can't go all the way out, or maybe it has to be sort of higher. Nice. I like the pace. It's like glacial pace. That's good. That you know you can make those fine tunings of the foundation if you need to, if you feel like you're about to topple. Good. So whenever you've had enough of such things, we'll just meet in dolphin again with 2 feet on the floor. Separate the hands and straighten the arms. Reach the right leg up for an inhale and step to the hands for an exhale. Lower the left knee down, anjaneaasana. Roll the shoulders back so we have robot arms, like the elbows are going to touch the wall behind you. Stay here for 2 breaths. Try to drop the hips a little lower. Feel something through this left hip and waist. Okay, fingertips down. Back knee up. Let's find Purvottanasana, triangle pose. So your right hand is already on the floor, pinky to the side of the foot. You might keep it there, or you might decide to move it somewhere else. I'm going to move mine to the big toe today. One more breath here. Actually, lean back a little bit more with that top ribs, the whole ribs. Good. Okay, let's lower to our anjaneasana again. Repeat that robot position that you had, and either stay there or try to touch the floor underneath your hips with your fingers. And the way to do that is roll your shoulders back more and bend your front knee more. Take one more breath. We'll place the hands and just find 3-legged downward dog again. So the right leg up to the ceiling. Step the right foot forward between the hands. Simple twist. Left hand will stay where it is. Right arm up to the ceiling. And let's practice leaning the right shoulder back. Good. Let's keep leaning the shoulder and the ribs back, but move your right hand to the hip crease. Slide your thumb in that hip crease and push the hip back toward the back of your mat. See if you can move your hip back while still leaning your shoulder and ribs over to the left a little. Okay, release the hands. Essentially, that's what you have to do in twisted triangle. Let's slide the left foot in just a few inches, straighten both legs. Left hand anywhere you want. It's going to be easier on the big toe side of your foot. And it's going to be easier if you're on fingertips or a block. So you decide where you want that hand. Reach the right arm up to start and try leaning back. And keep that feeling of leaning back, but bring your right thumb to your hip crease. Push your right hip toward the back of your mat. And you'll feel more length in the right side. And keep that in your legs. Reach up again. Take one more breath. Let's lower the hand. 3-legged downward dog. Right leg to the ceiling. Inhale. Circle the ankle a time or 2. Go the other way. And we'll step that right foot forward to the hands. Still the same leg. We're just going to come into this half squat, half konasana type thing. So ideally, this right heel is on the floor. A lot of the time, people have the heel up because the knees is too far that way. So bring your back foot back, and then this front heel will come down easier. Just take another breath here. Hands anywhere you want for your balance, or maybe you don't need the hands. Okay, and we'll travel into Marichyasana A. So we'll push into the right foot, get the legs straight. Pivot to face the long edge of the mat. Inhale, hands between the feet. Exhale, head down. We'll just stay here for a few breaths. And we'll try to get our sitting bones a little bit higher up. Lisa, elbows in just a smidge. Okay. Let's straighten the arms for an inhale. Walk your hands toward the top of your mat and find your standing split on the right foot. So instead of stepping back, we'll lean forward. We'll get our left leg up to the ceiling. Hands can stay on the floor or head to your leg. Let's try to get our top leg a little stronger. Good. Let's lower the hands if they're up, and we'll just step to a squat. So left foot can meet the right foot, or it can go off to the side a little bit, so the feet don't have to touch, and you'll end up in a rounded shape. You can hug your legs, or you can reach forward. Lisa, are your heels on the floor? Okay, now they're on the floor. And now you're having fun. Okay. Let's place the hands, step or jump back. Vinyasa. Okay, left leg up high. Inhale. Step forward, exhale. Anjaneasaana with robot arms. Just a few breaths here. Sometimes folks will put their thumbs in their armpits and lift up. That hasn't really ever affected me because then I feel like I just shrug my shoulders up to the ears. But if you feel stuck, it's worth trying because you never know what's going to work for you until you try it. And you sort of have to try it once every year because it'll change. Okay, hands down, simple twist.
What about triangle?
What about triangle? Let's do that. Just a regular triangle. Untwist yourselves. Ashley says triangle comes next. I believe her. Right arm up. Because I yelled at her on the other side, that's how she knows it comes next. And I'm going to yell at her on this side too because she's consistent. So right ribs back. Okay, good. So let's come on down again. Let's find our three-legged dog, left leg up. This is just so we don't get too stuck. And then step forward again. Anjaneasana again. This time we'll roll the shoulders back and attempt to touch the floor. But the process is the same. It's really just, are your forearms going to reach down or not? The chest is not changing, and the front leg is not changing. Okay, so now a simple twist. Right hand down, right knee up. And we attempt to get our, not just our arms stacked. A common kind of error is folks just fling their top arm back. But it's not just the arm. You have to move your shoulder, you have to move your ribs. Maybe that thumb can go in your hip crease and open your hip a little more. As your left hip moves toward the back of your mat, your left knee has to move in a little bit. Okay, untwist. Slide your right foot in just a smidge for your twisted triangle. You don't have to choose the same position for your bottom hand if it didn't work for you or if you have an injury on one side. So to help keep the hips square here, slide your left thumb to the hip crease. It's like you're pushing your left sitting bone toward the wall behind you. Then you can get your right shoulder a little bit more centered over your right wrist. And the left arm to go up again, perhaps. Okay. And let's unravel. Whew. I feel like the standing split came next, but I might be all over the place with the order of things. Let's try standing split. We'll take Prasanna after this. So as you're reaching your right leg up, if you can think about it more, that will help you later in your inversions, because really the top leg reaching is what will get you into an inversion without the wall. Okay, fingers down. Let's step back. Let's find our half squat, half konasana. Good. So practice getting the heel down and the knee, the left knee moving back. Good. And then Prasarita Purvottanasana, this time D position. We'll reach with the big toes, inhale, and head down, exhale. Shoulders defying gravity. Okay, let's straighten the arms. Walk your hands towards the top of your mat, vinyasa. And let's come to hands and knees again. We're going to do one more little trying to keep the weight even drill. So before we lift any limb off the ground, just find your neutral back. So that might mean that you need to cat-cow a little bit in order to hone in on what is neutral. And you might need to reset it a few times throughout the exercise, that's fine. So belly's drawing in, away from the ground, up toward your spine. Extend the right leg back as high as you can without arching. So earlier we went real high and then we had to arch. So maybe you keep it real close to the floor or maybe hip height. And left arm forward. We'll just stay here for a moment and we're going to think of reaching the limbs out. But at the same time, the arm is in the socket, the hip is in the socket, the belly is in, so there's no arch. And let's just lower those limbs down. And try the other side, reset your belly if you need to. Left leg will lift up. And sometimes before I reach my right arm forward, I would actually put it on my belly and see, are these ribs tucked in? If your lowest ribs are flaring out, chances are you have a back bend going on. Take one more breath. Lower hand and knee. We're just going to now start alternating with breath. So we'll inhale out, limbs up, and we'll exhale it down. And just go whatever breath pace you want, whatever height you want your leg. But it's really all about your core stabilization. So your mind should mostly be on your belly. The next time that you have your left leg and right arm up, we'll meet there. And we're just going to bring them out to the side a smidge, maybe so they line up with the edges of the mat, and then into their original spots. And then out to the side a little bit, and into original. One more time. And lower those limbs, and try the other side. So when we're reaching away, it's just straight front and back, then we'll draw out a little and back to original spot. Just 3 times. for an arch. And let's press the downward dog, exhale. Right leg up high, inhale. And find pigeon, exhale. Hands wherever you want for now. We're going to take a few breaths here and then we'll add a twist. Okay. So currently your right sitting bone is, it's not on the floor. There's a bit of a lift there. This would be my pigeon normal. My right sitting bone is up. If I let my right sitting bone come down, now I'm on a diagonal. So this would not be pigeon. So keep that in mind. We're going to twist to the left. It's tempting now for folks to bring their right sitting bone down and fall onto the right side. Don't fall, even if that means you have to twist less. So I'm just right now on my elbow. It's already a twist. If I want more, I can come down to the shoulder. Yikes, this is hard. Okay, let's slowly get out of there. Just find your three-legged downward dog again. That right leg up and right foot will step forward between the hands. Let's find our Purvottanasana, possibly bound, because that's really nice for the shoulder. So starting to get a twist over to the right, either prayer twist or your left hand can travel under your right leg. Lift the hands. Back heel can stay up, or spiral it down like you would a warrior one. And remember what you did earlier, you slid your thumb into your hip crease and pushed that hip back. If you're bound, you can't do that, or if you're in prayer, you can't do that because your hand is occupied. But still think of what it felt like and try to make it happen. Okay, let's unravel and just step back, vinyasa. Left side pigeon. You decide how far away from your right hip your left foot is going to go. There is no right answer. There's a lot of poses where alignment is just so, but you're going to find a pigeon different every hour of every day. Okay, so start the process of your twist. If it means you need to change your foot position so that your knee is okay, do that. Maybe you're in a prayer, maybe you don't go so low. But as you're twisting and your right shoulder and rib cage is moving up and back, you need to keep your right hip moving toward the floor. Okay, let's unravel. Three-legged downward dog. Step forward for Purvottanasana. You could start it with your right heel down. I usually, if I'm going to bind especially, I start it with the heel up because it's you get more wiggle room. But no matter what you're choosing, try to get your right armpit real close to your left thigh. you could probably eke one more inch out of that lean. Shoulder back. Yeah. Ashley, you done? All right, let's get out of there. And vinyasa. Okay, we'll bring the thumbs to touch in the center of the mat. Let's just bring the right foot outside the right hand. Left knee down so it's lizard. Let's make it a super comfy lizard. We'll turn the right foot out of it and the knee drop open. Then you can come to the elbows. Oh, I love this. So this is very similar for your hip as pigeon is, but in a lot of ways it's easier than pigeon because you don't have to deal so much with the ground. Either stay there or include your back leg and stretch your hip flexors to the left side. Okay, let the back leg go if you have it. We're going to turn this into that half squat, half konasana again. If you cannot get this heel down, just wedge a towel or something under it so that you at least feel balanced and stable. And we'll bring our shoulder inside of the knee, arms out away from each other, and possibly bind by rolling that right shoulder forward so the palm is facing the ceiling. And when the right elbow bends, the knuckles will be by your hip. Then you can grab hold of your left wrist. Okay, pretty good. Let's get out of there and return to our prasarita, straight legs facing the long edge of the mat. This time, C position. Interlace the fingers and reach out with the knuckles. Just notice which thumb is on top. Chances are that that's always the thumb that you have on top. Let's bend the elbows, switch the way that your fingers are interlaced so that now it's the other, and it feels a little odd. Okay, slowly let that go. We'll just walk the hands to the top of the mat. Vinyasa. We'll do all that on the other side. So when you get to downward dog, move your thumbs to center again so your left foot can step outside of your hand. Right knee down. You could stay like that. This is a legit version of lizard. I like to turn the toes out and drop the knee open. It just feels like something a little easier and stretchier, not so strengthy. Maybe come to the elbows. Maybe add your twist and bring your back foot in toward your butt. Lisa, you can do it that way, or you can have a twist and then it's easier. So it would be left hand to right foot. Okay. And we'll slowly get out of there. Let's find our, I think it was the squat thing. Ashley will let me know if I forgot something. So you do have to be comfy in the squat before you can go messing around with the arms. So take your time making that happen over the next few years. When you can, reach apart with the arms, maybe bind. And this is the same bind you would do in like the Marichyasana A and B. Come into our prasarita again. This time we're going to attempt to get our elbows to the floor so that we can come up into Baddha Marichyasana A. If you can't get your head to the floor in this position, just bring your feet together and come into it how you normally would. It's just going to be a normal headstand, just lifting up from the wide feet if you can. But when you're ready, just go up. However you can get there. And once you're there, squeeze your legs together. Let your legs separate to about your mat's width, which obviously you can't see that because your legs are up in the air. But you know approximately what that could be. And bring them in again to touch. Squeeze them in. Then again, let them separate to mat's width. And bring them in. And see if you can do this a few more times. And instead of just letting it be the legs moving, try to get Mula Bandha to bring your legs in for you. So it's a contraction at the pelvic floor that initiates the movement. It makes it a lot more, it's a subtle but powerful movement. So when you're ready to come down, if you came up from your side split and do that, you go through the V so that you can lower to the straddle. Otherwise, just lower your legs, however. And we'll just meet in downward dog. You can vinyasa or not. Let's jump through and have a seat. Marichyasana A. So we'll bring that right heel real close to the sitting bone, but with some space between foot and thigh, because you need your ribs to come through. So let's do it first, right hand to left foot. Pull yourself through, and this left hand will just be your kickstand so you don't fall over. Pull yourself through so much that you feel like your armpit is forward of your shin bone. Stay there for breath. If this is a struggle in any way, stay here for longer. When you can, right arm is going to come out to the side, thumb facing down. You might even stop here and put your fingertips on the floor. Your armpit is on your shin bone. If you want to keep going, wrap around your leg. Your left hand can then join in the fun. Your right hand will hold your left wrist, and you fold. Okay, let's rise up. And let's go for Purvottanasana. We'll do this a few different times, but this will be one. So for this one, let's open up the feet like a book. And you'll notice, here's my knees when my feet are together. Here's my knees when they're open. They drop down. Let's pull ourselves forward, chest toward toes. Head will be somewhere out there in front of your feet. You could put something there, like a block. Okay, let's rise up. Let's go for Marichyasana A on the other side. So first, just reaching out with that left hand, chest toward the knee. And just make sure that you have everything placed properly, that your ribs can clear this leg, because you don't want this thigh blocking you from moving forward. And when you can, left arm out to the side. If that's going well, bind. There should be no pain in your shoulder. There might sometimes be a crack or a pop, but it should not be a painful one. If it is, revert back to a different variation until whatever it is has sorted itself out. And binds are generally pretty good for the health of our shoulders. So if you do have tight shoulders or pain recurring, Vines are not something to shy away from. You just have to do it in a safe way. Okay, let's rise up. Let that go. This time, we'll have our heels close to us, but we'll glue the feet together. We'll interlace our fingers around the toes. Then just see if you can get your knees low. And fold forward, this time keeping your fingers interlaced around your feet. It will just change your ankle position a little bit. It might check your ego a little bit. And let's rise up. We'll bring the legs together and find our squat. We'll go in and out of a straighter arm bakasana. So you'll lift your hips, you'll lean forward and try to get your arms pretty straight with your butt up high. And then as you're bending your elbows, your back will flatten. So we'll straighten the arms and round back. And we'll bend the arms and flatten the back. And you'll feel like when you're going to the straighter arm rounding back position, it's a lot of your abs pulling in that will get you there. Carol, if this is not for you because of wrists, go for baby bakasana instead. Okay, and let's just meet in downward dog. Shake out your head and neck. All right. So we're going to go for a anjaneasanas, but don't get nervous. We're just going to do it in a very controlled way, like what you did earlier. So I'll show you, and then you can decide, do you want a wall or not. So I'd step one foot in a little bit. I'll bring my toe to the inner knee. And then I'll extend it out, bring it in again, and slide it up. And then I'll try the other side. So toe to knee is not so bad. When I extend the leg out, the top leg might have to go back a little bit. But we want to avoid making it go back so far that you wind up on the wall. So your legs have to always talk to each other. Did that make sense? I think Lisa's image is frozen because she must be frozen with that expression. Yes, because she's in it. There we go. Unfrozen. So Carol, get that top leg straighter. Yes, the top leg will always stay straight. Just the bottom leg is going to bend and do its fancy stuff. So you'll notice this is a lot harder than when we did it in headstand. But really, it's not that different. It's just our hearts get in our throat and we start to freak ourselves out. Okay, good. We'll try it again in a few minutes. Don't worry. Let's meet in double pigeon. Right leg on top. Shin stack. We'll lean forward. As far as you want to. Okay, let's rise up. We'll just bring our heels close to our butt. Lean forward and hug your legs to your torso. So you're just this tiny little shape. Knees are touching and squeezing in. And reach forward. And try not to explode backwards because this is hard. So your hip flexors even have to work here, otherwise the feet might fly away. Let's put our armpits on our knees or as close to it as possible. This might feel like not much. I have a lot of back issues, so for me this is very extreme. Okay. Let's rock forward, and we'll take it just to a lunge, left leg back. So we just did that so that we could practice Bakasana into Bakasana, which we did, I think, on Friday. We touched on it. So here you are in Bakasana, leaning forward, hoisting your hips up so that your left leg can get off the ground. Then you're going to curl in and touch your knee to your left arm. So it's much like when you worked to get into the more rounded version of Bakasana earlier. It's that same belly in thing. If Bakasana is not for you, just drag your left knee toward your chest. Good. And practice getting your left toes off the ground. And then think about putting your left knee on your arm. And then let's get out of there and try the other side. Double pigeon starts us off. Left shin on top. When we were in tabletop earlier and you were drawing your belly in just to prevent arching when we were extending limbs, it's pretty much that same action that you have to do in this Bakasana thing, just a little bit amped up. Okay, we'll rise up and we'll have our feet again close to our butt, but this time toes instead of heels. So that means you're probably going to lean back a little bit more, but you'll try to reach forward again. So now it's a lot more abdominals to keep us here. And we'll lift the feet a little higher and try to get our knees toward our armpits. Mine are only going to touch my armpits if I actually use my hand on my shin to put it there. So you could do that. Your hands are available. Okay, so this would be our Bakasana shape. So that would be like our end result. So let's release the feet. Step back with the right foot so you wind up in your lunge. And just start practicing your Bakasana. And that might mean that your right leg gets up, or maybe you drag your knee in toward your chest and practice getting your right foot up. But the work for right now, for today, is try to get your knee onto your tricep. It's quite satisfying when it goes there. But head stays off the floor. No head on the ground. Oh, see, Blaze agrees. He's like, Mama, head up. Okay. So when you're bad enough, we're just gonna meet kneeling. Okay, that was pretty good. Let's just shake out the wrists for a moment. And with your left hand on your right forearm, just give yourself a little twisty twist. And then other side, right hand on left forearm. Send some love that way. Okay. So we're going to try our Marichyasana again. Same exact thing that we did with the legs. So I'm going to back up a little more. So what I'm seeing is a lot of top leg issues. Okay. Hopefully I don't crash into some cabinets. So I'm trying to get my top leg really high up. And then when I extend the bottom leg, the top leg is really taking over the strength. And when I slide the bottom leg up, I wait until it's all the way up to start moving the other side. So give it a try. Same thing you did before. It'll be better this time. Just remember that your wall is only preventing you from falling into Viparita Dandasana. That's all it's for. So it could be pretty far away from you. So Carol, when you're straightening your bottom leg, it's not going up the leg. It's just kind of on its own. So toe stays connected to the leg. It will be easier, I promise. Ooh, Miss Carrie girl, what? Yes, much better. Okay. Let's meet in downward dog. I know you're tired. Don't worry. You're okay. You'll feel good later. Okay, let's bring the right foot forward to the hands. Lower the left knee down. Bakasana grip with the left hand on foot. And that might mean something like this. With the arms straight, there's plenty happening here. When you can, pull it in. And now I feel it a lot in the shoulder and the pecs for the left. And for a while, Bakasana, you might be distracted by your hip flexors, but really it will turn into more of a shoulder thing. Okay, release that. And we'll just pivot around to the other side. There's nothing to see, so you don't have to really go with your screen. We'll just be in anjaneasana, and then the right hand will reach for the right foot. Sometimes to get into these positions, we overarch in the back because we're trying to avoid either the stretch for the hip flexors or for the shoulder. But you can allow your leg and your arm and your spine to all be independent creatures. They work together to make this happen. Okay, let's release that leg. We'll spin around to face the front again. And let's find our Hanumanasana, but with our focus on the back leg. So we'll creep our feet further and further apart, never losing the stretch for our left hip flexors. That might mean that you keep your right leg bent quite a bit. If the right leg is bent, that does not mean that it's not working. So squeeze your muscles to the bone. Okay, let's bring that foot in and just find your lunge nice and easy. Let's reach our right hand for our big toe. Come into your side plank with the leg up. And this might not, ooh, the floor is slippery here. Yikes, my mat just slid. So we're going to push the ball of the foot up toward the ceiling. Ooh, don't do what I did. Falling out of it. All right, let's find our split again. So we'll escort the right foot forward. And this time we'll maybe come down an extra inch. Okay, let's head toward pigeon. So we'll rock to that outer right hip in order to bend the front leg. Then we'll rock to center again, and we'll attempt Bakasana grip again. If, when you get here, you feel like it's kind of easy, etc., you might go to mermaid, which would be elbow, kind of stuck with the toes, right arm around. Or you might work on a king pigeon, which we've usually done with straps, or we could do like a 90-minute class just on that. But we have worked on the grip a bit. You hang on to the outer edge of the foot, then I lift the chest in order to curl. And today I'm not going to have the right hand join the party. Okay, get out of there and vinyasa. Okay, let's bring the left leg forward. For Hanumanasana number 1, with our attention on the right hip flexors. If you start to feel like it gets easy for the right hip flexor, it very simply might mean that you've gotten out of square. So one thing I do to help with that is I lift my back knee sometimes, and then you're more square, and then my hip flexors are now on fire. In a good way, it feels good. It should always feel good. Except for some things like Purvottanasana and Purvottanasana, those don't feel good. Okay, let's find our lunge, and we'll attempt our side plank. And if you don't want to do that foot up stuff, you could do regular side plank, you could do this with your foot down on the floor. But if you are taking hold of your foot, reach for your big toe and kick. Good, hips up higher, Miss Lisa. Keep going, keep going. The higher they are, the easier this will be. Good, escort yourself to your split as you're feeling ready. Come a little lower maybe than you did before. And this will help us have less of a kick when we get into inversions, so that we don't have to work so hard to get up. All right, let's find pigeon. Rock to that left hip. Bend the knee. Bakasana grip, or whichever you did. I know that this is my tight side, so the likelihood of that king pigeon thing working without 90 minutes of prep is not high. Yeah. So I'll try that mermaid thing instead. Try what works for you. Make sure that you're not working too hard. Ashley, what's going on?
Yoga is just really hard for me.
So go into a lazy pigeon if needed. Okay, so we get out of there. I think we just vinyasa from here. That was everything on one side, right? Okay, so we're going to try Pincha again, but this time we're going to get into it a little bit differently, and we won't do the same work when we're up there. If it's too much, just interlace your fingers and go for a headstand. So this time, since we did all of this hip stuff, if I can only get my leg to here, for example, I'll need a pretty big kick and a pretty big push with the bottom leg. So first, I'm going to try to lift my leg higher. And then, I don't need as much of a kick. The catch is, to get my leg higher, I have to open the hip. So the moment that your second leg is off the ground, you're going to try to square the hips. Because here my hip is open, and then I'll try to bring it to square again. So that I can squeeze the thighs together and get the second leg up. So give that a try, basically using your split to help you get up with less effort. You want to make it easy. Wow, Carrie, that was good. Okay, Carol held back for like 100 seconds. Okay, so let's come on down and we're going to meet in Virasana. And we'll try to get our arches close to the hips. If this is not your pose, just straighten your legs because we're about to go into a Purvottanasana prep. And if you have your legs straight, it'll be fine, or even reverse tabletop. So we'll have our hands behind us, and we're going to lift our chest up, squeeze the arms to straight. Wow, that's a lot for the arm stretch. I feel it running all the way through the forearms even. And we'll try to lift the hips up. Drop the head back if you want. Keep pressing into your feet to get your hips up. Okay, and come on down. Ooh la la. Let's undo the legs. And we'll try it from Purvottanasana, which is about 6 million times harder than what you just did. So, straight legs, toes pointed, glue the legs together so your thighs are rolling in. The arms are the same. And now our dilemma is hips are heavy. So we've got to squeeze our glutes and all the back muscles, the back of the legs, and we try to get the hips up. And we keep squeezing the entire back side of the body in order to stretch the front side of the body. Ashley, feet together. Good. Good. And come on down. Whew. All right, let's lay back. Urdhva Dhanurasana, or any back bend of your choosing from here. I'm going to spin this way so I can see you guys as I go up. Good, and come on down. Okay. So based on what I saw, we're going to do a little exercise, a little drill type thing. So we'll come onto the balls of the feet so that we're a little bit higher, and then we'll try to push it through, and just at your pace, so that you're just nudging into the shoulder chest opening. Okay, and come on down. We're going to do one more thing before we do that. So just come up to kneeling or sitting, however you want to work it. And we'll just bring our arms out in front of us. Easy enough. Not a problem. Now let's reach the right arm up as high as you can so you feel like your shoulder shrugs up to your ear. And then back another inch. And reach out forward and try the other side. Left arm up. So you'll notice this moment where it kind of goes, can't go anymore. Then reach it up higher, and then it'll go a few more inches back. And then bring it forward. And let's just try it with both arms together. So you'll take it to a point, and now to get it further back, don't just flail your ribs out. It's real tempting. But instead, keep your ribs exactly as they are. Just reach up higher so you feel a little shrug, and then they'll move back. And your ribs didn't change. So you're just getting your arms and your shoulders to work independently of your back. Okay. Whew. And let it go. That's a lot of work, even just doing it like that. So let's try again to rise up. If you feel a little stuck, have a look-see. I'm going to face you this way for this. When you come up first, come to the top of your head and just check in with your elbows. Sometimes this happens. Hands are too close, elbows are too wide. So err on the side of hands wide. And roll toward your forehead. And start to straighten the arms, continuously pushing your chest through. And then do the same little work with the shoulders that we did while you were sitting on your butt. Just that now you're weight bearing, so it's harder to do it. Okay, very nice. All right, so come on down. Urdhva Dhanurasana for me always make me sweat. My heart beats fast. When I'm doing drop backs, my feet sweat. So I have to literally wipe my feet off with a towel. It's so odd. Okay, so we're going to do one more back bend. You decide if it's the same from there or if it's going to be a Pinchamayurasana. Have a look-see at this pincha, just because it will play into what you did at the very start of class. So here I'm going to try to be a little straighter. And of course, straight is in quotes. I don't know what I look like, but I'm trying to be straight. And then when I want to back bend, I'm going to push my hips away from the wall and reach my feet toward the wall. So that's like what you did earlier when you were standing and we leaned. So you need to pay attention to hip and foot. So give it a try if you want, pincha. You need to know where your feet are in relation to your hips because the wall is not in your life anymore. Especially if your initials are CB. Yes. Very good. And obviously to do that, your hip flexors have to be open. And they are. Woohoo! All right. So let's just go to downward dog and walk our hands back to our feet. Step on your hands, palms up. And fold forward. This is Purvottanasana. You can use it to relieve your hamstrings or your back or your wrists or your neck. Let's release the hands and squat. We won't be here for long. So if your heels don't come down, you don't need to bother wedging something under there. Let's start to work on getting the heels down. Okay, then the butt down. Let's go for bakasana long. So we'll have our feet pretty far from the hips, diamond shape here in the legs, and we'll fold head toward arches. Let's roll up and straighten the legs for Purvottanasana. Your legs don't actually have to be all the way straight. Sometimes it's nice to do it where the chest can rest on the thighs. For some of you, the chest can rest on the thighs with the legs straight. Or maybe you stay a few breaths with bent and then go straighter. Carrie, let's hold the outer edges of the feet. Yeah. And then essentially you pull the pinky toe edge back towards you as you push the ball of your foot forward. Yeah. Good. Let's rise up. Let's bring the legs to a deeper bend. We're going to roll down, but with the assistance of our hands. So first a little C shape in the back. So you feel your belly draw back. Just walk your hands down your legs so you come lower and a little lower. And if you need your hands on the floor for support, do that. Otherwise, just keep your hands on your legs and come down. And we'll let the head drop to the mat. Take any button out of the way so that your head can be nice and neutral. And set up for Shavasana. Let's take a few more breaths here. With minimal effort, roll to the side in a fetal position. With minimal effort, sit up. Let's bring the hands together. And we'll fold forward. Namaste.